On this episode, we talk about our latest trip, which included renting a Beachcomber Shack at Typhoon Lagoon, our first stay in the family suite at All-Star Music, and seeing the all-new live-action Little Mermaid at Disney Springs AMC. Today is June 6th, 2023, and this is episode 571 of the Main Street Magic Podcast.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts. Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Main Street Magic. I'm your host, Jeremy Stein, and I'm joined by my lovely wife, Rhonda.
Hey guys.
Make sure you check us out on the web at mainstmagic.com, as well as follow on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at mainstmagic. If you've not done so already, head out to Facebook and search for the Main Street Magic community and ask to join. Then if you hit that subscribe button, you're going to get brand new episodes every Tuesday and Friday. We know that planning a trip to Disneyland or Walt Disney World can be overwhelming and at times just downright frustrating. But don't worry, because Mouse Dining removes the frustration of booking Disney dining reservations, alerting you when they spot availability for your desired restaurant, date, meal, and time. Visit msmfriends.com to use this free service.
So today we're actually talking about our Memorial Trip weekend that we started the girls' summer out with when they got out of school. And I know it's a little later, so I do apologize, but we have been busy ever since school was let out. I don't know if I have taken a breath.
No. We have
but
not. We're going to take one after we record this episode.
We're going to try.
Yes.
We
just got home.
We did. And we just got home from Chuck and Amy's wonderful home. And then
what town is that in?
Lafayette.
Lafayette, Georgia.
Lafayette, Georgia.
Not Lafayette.
Correct.
So we learned that this weekend.
Yes. And then we went over about a little less than an hour over to my parents in Valley Head, Alabama, and watched them, like, their whole, like, stuff at their house, their cabin, their kit. They're going to build. It's quite amazing. They have this beautiful concrete pad that, you know, the next thing I know, it's
building
have
a log
walls
cabin.
And yeah.
It's going to be super cool.
It is.
It's going to be neat to watch that progress.
And then, of course, they're in their camper. So it was just neat to go over there and see them and celebrate my mommy turning 70 tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
So happy birthday, Mommy. And yeah, it was a really good weekend.
It was outstanding. So we're going to break up our Memorial trip into two episodes. We're going to do this one today, which is going to cover Typhoon Lagoon. We saw the new Little Mermaid, and then we stayed in an All-Star Music family suite.
Yes.
And then in an episode, maybe the next episode, probably now, is we'll do the dining review of our dinner at Splitsville with a big group of us, and then another big group for homecoming brunch.
Yes.
So that'll be the next episode, is another dining review, because everybody's been loving those. So we're gonna start off, though. Really, what we want to talk about most at Typhoon Lagoon is we rented one of the Beachcomber Shacks.
We did. This was our first time ever doing this.
And if you want more Typhoon Lagoon information, because really nothing has changed there since reopening after COVID, you can go back when we returned for the first time on episode 438. A little bit later, we went back again and talked about it in episode 448, and then again in episode 466. So if you want all the details about the attractions, the food, everything else, you can go back and listen to those episodes. We're going to really focus mostly on the Beachcomber Shack. Mm-hmm. But one thing I will state, if you are thinking of going to Typhoon Lagoon on your trip, they have two different ticket options for out-of-state residents. One of those is a one-day water park ticket. That's $69 for adults, and then $63 for ages 3 to 9. Or they have a one-day water park ticket with blockout dates. So just go and look at the calendar, and then you'd save $5 on each of those tickets. So
nice.
Just check those dates, and if they have blockout dates, but it doesn't bother you at all, go ahead and save a couple bucks.
And if you're a pass holder, you do get to buy other people even up to
so what you can do is if you are a annual pass holder without the water park and sports option, you can buy yourself and up to 3 additional people a $49 one-day ticket with no blockout dates, and you can do that every day of your life as a pass holder, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
Now, if you are an annual pass holder that has the water park and sports like we do, you can still buy up to 3 additional tickets for friends and family at the $49. So we bought one for the girls and then their friend Cassidy. And you log in online. It recognizes that you're an AP, and it's going to go ahead and just give you that discount. You can pick it.
It's awesome.
Now, if you're a Florida resident, though, right now, they are doing through June 30th, so through the end of the month, basically, buy a day, get a day free. So
nice.
A 2-day Florida resident water park ticket is $69 for adults, $63 for kids, and you get 2 days to be used. So that runs through June 30th.
Awesome.
So that's really good. I would recommend, we've never seen the water parks hit capacity in our lifetime, at least, but I would still recommend getting them ahead of time.
Yeah.
If you have a Magic Band already, it's going to link to it. You can walk right in. It's just, those ticket windows, there's a lot of people that are buying day of, or like, for example, for Cassidy, because she didn't have a Magic Band, we had to actually go and up to the ticket window, and they gave her, a physical card and ticket.
Right.
For
but
her to
she
get
only
in.
had to use that just the one time.
Literally just to get in.
So, yeah.
There was no other need.
There's no other need to,
It had
which is
Moana
nice.
on it, and I asked if I could keep it because I collect them. And
Are you serious?
Yes,
You
so
did?
she gave it to me. Actually,
very nice of
I think
her.
Lacey said something. I almost wanted to get ones for the girls because I saw the stack, and the next one was Tiana. And I almost said, could we get them physical tickets as well, just so I could have gotten it?
Yeah.
But I decided not to. All right, let's talk about the Beachcomber Shacks. Now, there are a couple different kinds. This is the standard shack, and this is going to price between $225 in the low season up to $375. This is Memorial Day weekend, so you can guess what ours cost.
Yes.
$375. Tax title was around $400. This is a max number of 10 guests. There's also a Beachcomber Shack Deluxe that is between $300 and $450. The only difference between that and the standard is you can go up to 12 people, but all the amenities are the same. Then you have the Beachcomber Shack Premium Plus, $375 to $500.
Ooh.
That will fit 10 people, and we'll do this one next time, and we'll talk about the difference of that in a minute. But first, Rhonda, why don't you talk about what is included with your Beachcomber Shack, your standard at least.
Okay. Well, you get nice cushioned seating for up to 6 guests. You get towels. You get a locker. You get cold water available all day. Unfortunately, it is Dasani.
We say unfortunately for all the people that hate Florida
just
water.
started to say because I don't mind Dasani, but some people don't like it. Anyways,
it didn't bother any of us who live in Florida
Correct.
that were there because we did have a group of 10.
We did.
So we had us 4. We brought Cassidy, and then we had Lucy and Caleb came, Ashley and Karen, their daughter and a friend.
Yep.
So this was like kicking off Memorial Day. Now's the time to do it. We can split it amongst everybody. Made it super duper affordable, right?
It did. Really, really did.
What's another great bonus that you get with this that really adds up?
The souvenir refillable mugs. So, and you can refill them at the Disney water parks, just for the day, though.
Yeah, just for the day.
But, all day at Typhoon. And they have the freestyle machines, actually. They have just some regular sodas that just has like 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah, I mean your standard fountain sodas also, but there are freestyle machines as well. And so these are normally $13 for the day if you buy them. So at 10 guests, you've already made back $130.
Yeah.
And if you were gonna go, all right, well, I bought the 2-day Florida resident ticket and got a shack, or I'm an AP and I have the add-on and I got a shack, you can then bring these mugs back forever pretty much and get them reactivated for $8.50.
Yep. Which is nice.
If you're someone who likes sodas and you know the price of a Disney soda, it is definitely well worth, coming back and having it reactivated. But for the normal $13 to be included, I mean, it's a really good price. And it's one of those where, we've talked in the past and you'll hear on some of those episodes, you can bring a cooler in. You can. Again, no glass, no alcohol, no loose ice, but you can bring in your food, you can bring in sodas, you can bring in waters, whatever you want. But it's a lot. You know? And so you could look at, I know the one time we did, went to Publix and we bought a bunch of, it was the four of us, I believe. We bought a bunch of stuff and we made sandwiches and we bought snacks and we bought sodas and water and all of this. Well, at that point, I mean, you're already maybe $100 in, and then you got to haul this cooler in there and deal with that. So I think just, having the refillable mugs is really, really good. And at $13, they're a lot cheaper than the resort mugs. Now, of course, those last for 7 days, but still for one day, it's one of those I look at and go, if your kid's going to drink 3 sodas that day, or you are, or a lemonade or whatever they have available in the freestyle machines, you've made your money back.
Yep.
So you might as well do it. What else do you get? And you don't always get Jonathan.
I know.
I wish you could. I wish they could just clone the Jonathans, because he was our cast member and he was amazing.
You get a dedicated server, basically, who is a cast member, and he is on hand to help you with whatever you need. He tells you everything. He gives you like the menu, and he's like, let me know if you need anything. And it was super cool because when we got there, he was like kind of explaining everything. And when he did, he was like, there's only 6 chairs, but because there's 11 of y'all, I got these other chairs for the kids and stuff.
That was really cool.
We
had Shack 17, which 11. I'm sorry, we had Shack 11, which, we talk about the umbrella chairs, and it's funny because Rachel actually messaged me yesterday and she's like, was it number 10 that's the best umbrella?
Yes.
And I was like, yes, it is.
Yeah.
I think 11 might be the best Beachcomber Shack. We were right there overlooking the wave pool.
Yeah.
If you walked out of the covered Beachcomber Shack, you were 4 feet from the rope overlooking the wave pool. What else is really cool about Beachcomber Shack if there's inclement weather?
Oh, I was super excited about this because it is now, we are in Florida in our time of the era of when it rains, not if, when.
No if, it's when.
And usually when the lightning comes, not if. This day happened to be definite, for sure, gonna storm. Here was the most amazing part. First of all, if it does lightning or thunder, you just all get under that shack because it does have lightning rods, and you are fine to stay there and wait it out, which is super cool.
Because anybody else who's not in a Beachcomber Shack has to go and get under other covered areas or in one of the shops,
correct,
or something like that. And we've been stuck in that before.
Yep.
And it is just hordes of people, nuts to butts, underneath a covered awning outside a dining area or in a merchandise shop or whatever until it passes. So that actually, when we got there, was a cool bonus. And,
it was. Because I knew, I was like, I know it's going to thunder lightning.
Rain.
I know it's going to. Yeah. But here's the crazy part. It didn't.
It did rain, though.
It rained, but it did not lightning and thunder. Yeah. It did not stop us from riding rides, having fun, getting in the pool, whatever. It rained, and it was kind of pretty, and it was neat.
But I hate getting in a wave pool and then it rains and you get wet. It's so tough. It's just, you're like, I was trying to keep my top half dry. Come on. If you're in that wave pool, you're not getting any, you're not keeping anything dry. Yeah. So with the Beachcomber Shacks, kind of going back a little bit, you can book these online. That's what I did, which was super easy to do. And then when you arrive, we got there before 10 when they do the official kind of opening, but they're going to let you in. I believe they start around 9:30, and they're just going to pull you. You see what I did there? Into an area before you can go across the bridge and actually head to stuff. But outside of that area to the right, right in front of the merchandise shop, is where you would go check in for your umbrellas, your Beachcomber Shack. They're going to give you wristbands for everyone. And they're going to kind of give you the lay of the land, tell you where your shack is so you can go check it out. When you arrive to the shack, again, there are towels on every seat. There's additional towels stacked up for however many are in your party. There's the extra chairs like Jonathan set out. You got your lockbox. There is a pub height table, but no chairs to it.
Yeah.
All the others are like Adirondack chairs sitting around. And then you're going to have all your refillable mugs there ready to go. Jonathan even provided a Sharpie so we could write our names on the bottom. That was
super cool.
Yeah, and then there's a cooler filled with ice with all those Dasani waters. And I believe it started with however many people are in your shack. And he just basically said, look, if you need more throughout the day, you just tell me and I'll come refill that thing.
Yep. And we did. We ended up at the end, and he brought
He just brought us a
for
bag
all-
filled. Yeah, he brought a bag filled
For
with a
both
water
of
bottle.
us, yeah.
Yeah, for everybody that was left.
Mhm.
Because Lucy and Caleb, I think, had already headed out. And it just, like, that dedicated service. And when if you've never around lunchtime been at the water park and wanted to go wait in line for lunch,
Right.
or even try mobile order, which
Yep.
I would recommend you do instead, it can be, you can wait. It's not the best experience sometimes. It's super duper busy.
Mhm.
So having a dedicated server that will not only get you food from anywhere, but
Bring
you can
it
also
straight
order
to you.
from the bar.
Oh yeah, that too. Yep.
Right?
Mhm.
So they're just, and they'll give you this spiel when you get there, but we'll
Oh,
give
yeah.
a little bit to you now. So they'll actually start 2 separate tabs, and they can split those up as
Yes.
needed, but they're going to do a food tab
Mhm.
and they're going to do a bar tab.
Yep.
Because they're 2 different locations. One thing that was very interesting, just because I don't want to forget this part because it's not in our notes. When you tip on the bar tab, that goes straight to the bartender.
Correct.
He brought us our food tab at the end, and I think it was either Ashley or Karen that asked and said, Jonathan, I don't see a place on here where we can tip you. And he said, you don't have to. I'm already taken care of.
Yes.
So what it sounds like is he gets some sort of cut or percentage of the cost of the shack.
Yep.
We don't know what that is. So like we cash
still
tipped him
tip.
as well.
Mhm.
And they did too. I mean, at the end, I ended up handing him, I think, a 20 or something. And it did not appear that many people do that just based on his reaction.
Yes. He was
He
very,
was
very,
very
grateful and
thankful.
thankful.
And so that is something you can do, but just again, something to note.
Mm-hmm.
Let me cover one more thing, and then you can say how you felt about it, and if we do it again and all.
Oh yeah.
So we had the standard. If you're looking for 12 people, if you're looking for more, you can get the deluxe.
Mm-hmm.
That will do the 12, and it's going to be a larger shack.
Mm-hmm.
If you really want to just pimp out, and this is the one I would like to do next time, because
Okay.
spoiler alert, you can do this premium plus. Now, in addition to everything we already talked about, you get a dining table, you get a mini fridge, a flat screen TV, an oscillating fan, and 4 electrical outlets.
I would like to do this one when we plan to like open to close. Because
100%. Because we knew we weren't that day. We knew we were going to get out of there about 2 or 3.
Yep.
So yes, this one would be like, and during the week, we were there on a Friday. They're going to be open right now. Summer hours are 10 to 5 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
But during the weekend, Monday through Thursday is going to be 10 to 5 p.m. Friday, Saturday, and I believe Sunday, I could be wrong, is going to be 10 to 8 p.m.
Oh.
So I would love to do it next summer.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get a group of 10 again.
Mm-hmm.
And this time, maybe if we don't bring the kids, we would do like 5 couples or something, and go ahead and do the premium plus. And just hang out in there all day for, 10 to 8, that's 10 hours worth of time. You can hang out in there, go enjoy the rides and all.
Yeah.
But do you want to talk a little bit about the additional food options that are not available at the standard quick service restaurants?
Yeah, so this is really cool. You can order, and when you do, everything serves 4. So it's funny because you see a starter and it's like tortilla chips and guacamole for $29.99, and you're like, what? $29.99? That's a lot of money for freaking chips and guacamole.
Yeah.
Well, I say it serves 4. The girls actually got loaded nachos that are $37. They are house fried tortillas topped with handmade beef, chili, cheese, guacamole, shredded lettuce, tomato, onion, sour cream, and jalapenos. Now, when Jonathan brought this to the girls, this was 3 girls eating it, 3 almost adult girls, Cassidy, Lacey, and Kaylin. Not only did they eat it and have plates full, I got some. You got some.
Yep.
That's 6 of us. That's 5 of us now.
Yep.
I think somebody else got some.
Yep.
That's 6 people now.
Yep.
And then on top of that, Ashley and Karen were having their Memorial Day party, and there was an entire thing of nachos left over. There was some beef and some cheese, and we told them like they were going straight home that night.
Yeah.
So I said, here, take all this. So, I mean, it says 4 but
I would say
six of
8.
us ate.
I would say easily it could
I would
feed
say
8.
Definitely.
And here's what's
8.
amazing, and I don't know
So
if
then
this
it's worth the $37.
100%. Here's what I thought was really cool. I don't know if this is the way they always serve them or if this is like a Jonathan special, but it came, I'll call it deconstructed nachos.
Ooh, that's a good way to explain it.
It's not as though they brought this platter
Right.
that was all assembled with everything layered like you would expect your nachos.
Correct.
He brought in 2 giant bags, everything separate.
Mm-hmm.
So we had 2 tubs of chips that had to have been 12 inches across by 4 inches deep, tricolored chips, 2 of those.
Mm-hmm.
Then we had 2, I don't know what size, maybe half-pint containers of the chili,
Mm-hmm.
2 half-pint containers of the cheese.
Mm-hmm.
Then think of your smaller square clamshell plastic containers that you would get at a salad bar.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
One of those filled with sour cream.
Yep.
One of those filled with additional shredded cheese.
Mm-hmm.
One filled with jalapenos.
Mhm.
One filled
Lettuce.
What else did we have?
Tomatoes.
Guacamole.
Onion.
Onions. Guacamole.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this was disassembled, and then a stack of plates
Mm-hmm.
and a ton of plasticware where each kid got a plate and built their own nachos.
Was amazing.
It
because-
was outstanding. And that's
and if
why it
you
was easy
didn't
to
want-
send the leftovers home with Karen
Yeah.
and Ashley because they were going home that night. We were like, you can break these out at your party tomorrow
Yep.
and reheat everything. It's not like, it's not like you go, wow, this serves 8 people. 4 people ate it. And now we have 4 more servings that are a bunch of soggy, good for, because you can't do leftover
Correct.
true nachos.
Well, and what's nice about that also is that if somebody's like, oh, I don't like jalapenos, or I
Mhm.
don't like onions, or I don't like tomatoes,
Rob
make
hates
your-
sour cream.
right? You make your own.
Yeah.
If you want meat and cheese and chips, there you go.
And these were that
Well, it
chili,
was shredded
that Waltz
cheese,
chili.
but it was also the other cheese. Did you say that? Because there was shredded
Yeah,
cheese.
that's
but
what I
then
said. There was the 2 pints of like your queso, you would say,
Yeah.
along with the chili. And I think it's the Waltz 50th chili that was all over the parks. It was so good. These were outstanding.
They were.
What did you and I get? And then what else is available?
Well, we didn't get anything else on the starters, which is fruit and cheese for $29.99. Mickey shaped pretzels for $18.99. It says Mickey shaped pretzel for $18.99. We were gonna get one just to see how many.
that's
If
what I
they would have
wondered.
brought 4,
Yeah.
or if they would have brought.
But that would track. You're paying $5 or $6 for a Mickey pretzel
Right.
anyway. So times 4, you're talking $20-some
Yep.
anyway. So my guess is it's 4 pretzels with plastic cheese.
I would have loved to have tried it just to see if he'd have brought like 6.
I know he might have.
Or whatever.
Jonathan was the man.
I know.
That guy was the best.
So your family platters, again, that serves 4. You have a large pizza party for $27.99. You have chicken breast strips party platter for $39.99. You have a rice bowl platter for $32.99. And then you have an a la carte, which is a cheeseburger for $11.79. So these are cheaper because they're quote unquote a la carte. So they are the one person food. So you have an all beef hot dog for $9.79. You have a tuna sandwich for $10.29, crabless crab cakes for $12.49, and a Caribbean spice salad for $12.29. And then of course you have your sweet treats on this menu, and it is a homemade chocolate brownie for $18.99. And these are back to, I think, serving 4.
Mm-hmm.
Although you do have a chocolate chip cookie for $3.49. So
That'd be an individual.
And you have your sand pail sundae for $17.99. And this is vanilla and chocolate swirled soft serve, vanilla cone pieces, vanilla cake, cookies and cream crumbles, hot fudge, caramel sauce, whipped cream, rainbow sprinkles, and a cherry. And this is layered in an exclusive souvenir sand pail bucket. We did get one of these for the girls / me. I feel like I ate
/ Karen.
we ate quite a bit. Again, brings the pail. Jonathan brings these cups that you can just kind of scoop it into your cup. He also brings the hot fudge and then hot caramel on the side so it doesn't mess everything up. Oh my goodness, this thing was fantastic. We've had it before with Lucy and Caleb, I believe. The 4 of us ate it. This was just phenomenal. Love, love, love it.
Yeah.
So good.
And
I feel like with Lucy and Caleb, ours was somewhat different.
Well, it was the 50th, so it had the celebration. It was the 50th anniversary, so it had that
was.
celebration ice cream that we loved with like the sparkles
Mhm.
almost and stuff in it. But here's a reason that you pay extra for something like this is that attention to detail. Going back to the nachos, going to the ice cream. If you go get the ice cream yourself, right? Then you get the pail yourself. You walk all the way back.
Oh, yeah.
Everything's melted. It's already soupy. And you're not complaining because you're like, that's what happens. But to have the attention to detail for him to say, hey, you know what? I brought you the hot fudge and the hot caramel on the side because I didn't want it to melt the ice cream quicker when I'm bringing it over here.
Yeah, it was amazing.
To bring disassembled nachos so everybody can make their own and you don't have soggy chips, I think is absolutely outstanding.
So what did we get?
Well, this is not the only menu. You can still order from any of the other restaurants on site. And you had mentioned the rice bowl, but we did not. You and I were going to get it and split it. Nobody else was really looking to get anything like that. And we did not want a serving of 4, especially now that we see these nachos. We're like, man, I mean, maybe
goodness.
Maybe we should have gotten it and everybody could have ate some, but we went ahead and from Leaning Palms, got the chicken rice bowl. This is $10.49. It is jerk seasoned chicken with rice, pigeon peas, and served with roasted corn and peppers, pineapple salsa, and sweet plantains. What did you think about the rice bowl?
It was really good. It seemed a little dry.
Yeah.
But I ended up putting, I think, some sour cream with it.
Yep. I think you put some sour cream and guacamole
from our nachos and it, holy moly, it elevated it and just brought it to life and was fantastic.
Yeah, it was like a Chipotle burrito bowl at that point.
It was.
And here's what I would say: if you're just ordering this and you don't have a whole nacho bar in front of you to up the game a little bit,
I wonder if you could ask for.
I would
side.
ask. Yeah, I would ask for either see if somewhere that can give you a side of sour cream or guacamole if they have it, or I would simply get like a side of ranch. Like I think an avocado ranch would have been really good with it. And it wasn't that it was bad. It was just a little dry.
Yeah.
You had the chicken,
100%.
you had the rice. It was a little bit dry, but we did enjoy it. Then because I cannot not buy a souvenir sipper or popcorn bucket, I had to mobile order the Typhoon Tilly sipper. So this is, I wish everyone could see it. It is the Typhoon Tilly boat, stuck on the giant rock. That is the landmark of Typhoon Lagoon as a sipper. And I had to go ahead and get that. And I absolutely love it.
A drink comes in it, but obviously.
A drink will come in it. It's $22.49. We did not. Yeah. And then you can.
Because we already had it refillable.
Yeah. And so this is going to, just for a lot more money, it's going to be just like your refillable mug, and you can even bring it back and reactivate it. So it's a good deal. If you're thinking of buying the $13 mug when you're there as a one-off for basically for $10 more, you can get a souvenir.
Which is super
sipper.
cool.
It is amazing. So overall, what do you think of the Beachcomber Shacks? I think probably people know what we think of them, but
I love it.
Talk a little bit about these. Do you want to do it again?
Yes, absolutely. 1000%. I'm a little sad because we didn't get to spend more time there. Because not only, I actually spent more time there because it was when the rain was a little cold for this Florida girl. So I was under there, more time, but I was sad we were needing to leave because we were actually going to head over to Disney Springs to watch The Little Mermaid, but we also wanted to get checked into the All-Star Music Family Suites as well. So the only downfall is I wish I'd have spent more time there.
Yeah.
Other than that, it was great. Loved it. 100% recommend it.
Would you, because again, we split this, and here's how we work with something like this, because, I think of butts and seats.
Yeah.
And we had basically 3 families worth. Ours being the largest with 5, Lucy and Caleb being the smallest with 2.
And you get a drink too.
Yes.
So your own drink.
Yep. Your own drink, everything. So we don't look at that as something like, hey, there's technically 3 families. Let's split it 3 ways.
Correct.
My thought is there is 10 people. So let's split it 10 ways.
Correct.
Which came out to $40 a person. So we had 5 people. So our share was $200.
Correct.
Worth every single penny.
Yes.
Now, could you see, tickets aside, because I know they're going to cost a little bit extra, if just, I'll say the 5 of us, we'll include third daughter Cassidy, would you pay a full $400 for just the 5 of us to go and rent one of these shacks? Do you feel that it's let's just say you do have a family of 3, 4, 5, even 6. Do you think it's worth the cost for one individual family as opposed to people that are splitting it up?
I do, and that might be the time that I unfortunately say, all right, well, as much as we want to buy all the food, maybe we just bring a whole bunch of pub subs.
Yeah, that's when you pack your own
and
food.
then maybe go, all right, we'll get one sand pill.
Yeah.
Because then you still have your sodas included. Yeah. You don't have to bring drinks on that end. You just need to bring your food and snacks. So absolutely, I would, as a family of 4, 5, 6, even 8. And I would totally do this, but then I would bring my own.
I agree. And it would definitely be it would need to be a weekend where they're open from 10 to 8 and you're spending the whole day. Because if you look at saying, all right, we're going to take one day away from the 4 standard theme parks and we're going to do a water park one day, your standard theme park could run you $140 to $160 a person a day.
Yeah.
So when you break that down to, even if you're just doing the $69 ticket, you break that down to $60 a person and then adding the 400 shack, it could still be around the cost of just doing 5, 4, whatever tickets for one of the 4 parks in the day. So I think that it almost evens out and you get a full day in Typhoon Lagoon, which I've always said before, as far as going between Universal and Disney, in my opinion, Volcano Bay is the best water park. Typhoon Lagoon is my absolute favorite. I love it. So we'll look at probably doing this again next summer. I don't see us doing it again this summer. I do want to get back to Typhoon Lagoon before it gets too cold for us Floridians. We'll look at that. We were thinking of going on my birthday, September 14th. I was thinking, because we're doing a big weekend.
Huge.
Huge. I think we're going to be like 30, 40 people deep, seriously, at Halloween Horror Nights on September 15th, that Friday. Everybody's going to get a room. We're going to have an awesome big group. We're going to go Friday night. Saturday, we're going to do the parks over at Universal and come home Sunday and all. And my birthday's on the 14th on the Thursday. And I told Rhonda, I was like, I have an idea. What if we go down on the 14th and we do Typhoon Lagoon? We stay at Disney that night. Rob and Tina are coming the next day. The kids can stay with them Thursday night back home, and then they'll bring them down. We'll all meet up on Friday. I would just like to be there in Disney for my birthday because I don't usually get to do that.
Right.
And so started looking around and talking to, wonderful folks over at Main Street Magic Travel.
Yeah.
mainstmagictravel.com.
Congratulations, Amy.
Congratulations, Amy, our newest agent that has come on board. She is now able to book along with Chuck. So you can go to mainstmagictravel.com. You can fill out a form for a free quote. Disney, Universal, pretty much anywhere in the world that you're looking to travel. Cruises, everything.
Cruise, yep.
So I sometimes just, because the way I work, I'll look and just get an idea and then send it off to them and be like, all right, you guys are going to be able to find the best rate. I might have missed something. Have you book it? But here's what I'm looking at. So I first was looking at Riverside. And I will say, I know we just did an episode a couple ago with Chuck. And now this summer is the time to travel to Disney. There are some killer prices for not only just summer rates, Florida residents, APs. We were looking at that night and All-Star resorts were at as low as $132, which we have not seen in a very long time.
We have not, which is nice.
I didn't want to do that, so I was actually looking at Riverside.
Yeah.
And Riverside was going to come in around $270 or so.
And then you were wanting to go to dinner.
Which was really good. Yeah.
But you were wanting to go to dinner. Were you buying fish or you were booking?
I was figuring we would actually probably go to Epcot that evening. I had already booked an Epcot reservation. I was thinking, or go over to Disney Springs, even if we were at Riverside, and we'll do a nice dinner and all. And so I was like, all right, I'm set on that. Then something got me just kind of looking at some DVC rentals. And there wasn't a lot available, but I found one at Boardwalk for $309 a night all in.
Right. Which
pretty
is
good.
good
Yeah.
because then we can walk to Epcot. Then we could walk to our Flying Fish reservation.
Yeah. And then I was like, okay. And I just kind of kept looking around, and we were with Chuck and Amy, and we were talking and all. And then Wilderness Lodge comes up.
Mm-hmm.
And it comes up with a king room, club level, which we've never done at Wilderness Lodge.
Correct.
We've done Poly, we've done Coronado. All in's going to be about $520 or so, which is a steal. It is over $200 off, and that was a Florida resident rate.
Okay.
So we're sitting there, and I'm like, it was yesterday morning, Saturday morning, and I looked at Amy, and I was like, I don't want to make you work on a Saturday, but here's my card. Can we go ahead and get this thing booked?
Mm-hmm.
So she brings it up, and she's like, actually, there's an annual pass holder rate that's 35% off, and that's going to save you about an extra $30-$40 for the night. I'm like, all
So
right.
it was under 500.
Ended up under $500.
Sweet.
We're going to turn it into a staycation. We're not going to do any parks. We're going to drive down that morning.
And then now we don't have to go to Flying Fish.
Right. Yeah. We're going to enjoy the club level food and beverage. We'll hang out by the pool during the day. We'll have breakfast in the morning, and then we head over to Universal Studios. But I just saw this opportunity, and just to show, I mean, I know, that's a lot of money, but we would have gone to Flying Fish and dropped $200 on dinner.
Correct.
So instead, and I know it's going to be a very different experience. It's not like we're going to sit down in the Old Faithful Club and get a Flying Fish meal. But my thought was, if we're going to combine a $300 room and a $200 dinner, let's do something that we've never done. We haven't stayed at Wilderness Lodge in the main lodge since, I think it might have been your 38th birthday. So about 5 years ago. So I'm super duper excited. That's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, good, and happy birthday.
Thank you. Now, that is not what this episode's about. Let's talk real quick about the All-Star Music Family Suites.
Yeah.
So this is another of one of those. Was talking with Chuck of Main Street Magic Travel, and I was like, well, why don't you take a look at what it costs for a suite, and why don't we split it for the night? Because, again, that's one of those things that makes it a little bit more attainable sometimes.
Absolutely.
And so he looked it up. It was a great price. I think it was around $400 for the night. Again, they're running great deals right now throughout the summer, so you can take advantage of it. Talk about the All-Star Music Family Suite and what you thought.
Well, it's super cool. So they are in Jazz and Calypso buildings only. There are 192 suites measured roughly around 520 square feet. Slightly larger than the cabins at Fort Wilderness, but a little smaller than the Art of Animation family suites.
Now, what's the big benefit here, though? Let's compare. Why don't you compare it? You can talk about the layout of the room and what's available as far as beds, because this sleeps up to 6.
Mm-hmm.
And then compare it to how that looks at Fort Wilderness in a cabin and how it looks at Art of Animation in a family suite.
Well, it's definitely comparable to Art of Animation because when you walk through the door, you have a table and you have a couch, and those are both Murphy bed pull downs of between a full and a queen.
It's a queen.
Is
Yeah,
it
queens.
queens for sure? Okay.
Yeah.
So with all that being said, and then you still have your, dresser and TV, you have a full bathroom that is your normal standard bathroom, one sink, long countertop, and toilet and shower, tub shower combo.
If you look at this portion, this half of the suite, if you basically just, instead of having both a pull down table Murphy bed and a pull down couch bed, it's the same layout as a regular All-Star room with a dedicated queen and a pull-down table Murphy bed. You know what I mean? Think of the size and the layout. It's very, very similar.
And honestly, I'm not going to lie, after saying something like this, I wish they'd do more of these where then I could have a couch and then pull my bed down at night.
I know.
Like,
I wish they would put one of these. I wish they would put these at Pop Century. I wish when the refurb Pop Century, heck, I wish they would have put these at all the value resorts. Yeah. Outside of Art of Animation, because they already had family suites. Yep. So, all right. So this is the size of 2 rooms. When they converted these, it was 2 regular rooms. So you can get an idea of sizing.
Well,
but then how does the rest work out?
Then you have like this kind of little hall per se, where you have not a residential full-size fridge, but a large fridge, but more of a
like a camper fridge,
yeah,
with freezer.
Yep,
which is nice.
You have sink and lots of storage for like pantry stuff.
Tons,
but no, like you'd have to bring your own hot plate if you needed one.
You were not allowed to do such.
Oh, really?
You're not allowed.
Oh, because there's no oven.
But there's a microwave oven.
That's right.
And there's a toaster oven.
Okay.
And a coffee machine.
Okay.
So you could go ahead and microwave your leftovers, but you're not cooking full meals in here.
No.
At least not from our recommendation. You guys are on your own if you decide to try and
especially if you're not allowed. That's
you're
crazy.
You're not allowed to bring that. You're also not allowed to bring electric tea kettles. That is a big question from our overseas friends in the United Kingdom because they all drink tea. Yeah.
I mean, you can put it in the cup of coffee thingy or whatever you're trying to say.
That's what I do is
Jeremy's brewed tea.
They have the Keurig
they
eggs.
had tea.
Right. And they have the Keurig eggs, but what you do is you just don't put K-Pod in the coffee machine. You literally just let the hot water run through.
And then some of them
actually
have
K-cup teas.
pod teas. Yeah.
They do.
So
you know who hates tea? You wouldn't know this.
Gary.
Ted Lasso.
Oh. No, I don't. Anyways, why are you not allowed to have a tea kettle?
It's a fire hazard.
Oh, and so is a hot plate.
Yeah, those are fire hazards.
Okay. Anyways, so you have that little like section, and then you come around kind of a little corner, and you have your queen. Oh, it's still a queen.
Yeah, it was a queen.
It looked kingy. Maybe because the bedroom was smaller and it was in the middle.
But you do have a closed off door. You do have a lock off door.
But it's in the middle. There's nothing else. Nothing else as far as it's in the middle of the bedroom. So it looked bigger to me.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember if you had. We weren't in there. I was trying to remember if you had nightstands on each side. It's your normal bedroom, your TV, your lonely chair, your dresser. And then you have a nice big actual bathroom, that shower, toilet, and I believe 2 sinks. I don't remember.
I can't remember off the top of my head. I believe they're one
because
we're looking at a value resort.
It was nice and big.
Yeah, but
lots of counter space.
But you're talking 3 queen beds, 2 full baths at a cost that's gonna probably always come under both the cabin and Art of Animation. Now, if you look at the cabin, this also sleeps 6, but only has 1 bathroom.
Oh, yeah.
And the 6 is only good if you have 2 very small children that can sleep in a bunk bed.
Yeah, because I can barely sleep.
We can't do the cabins anymore. I mean, we could technically do it with the girls.
Just because we put them on the pull-out.
But, and it's not going to matter that much longer anyway when they go ahead and take these down and put in the DVC ones.
Correct.
But, yeah, so I would say, if you're worried about fitting people and having bathroom space, this is much better than the cabins at Fort Wilderness.
100%. It's very, to me, comparable to Art of Animation because Art of Animation, same thing. You pull down the table.
Yeah, you got 2 pull downs and a dedicated
out
bed.
The couch bed.
That's right.
And then you have a dedicated bed and bedroom just like this one.
Yeah. But you get 2 bathrooms in the Art of Animation family suites as well.
Which is the same as this. This has a bigger, to me, like, air quote unquote kitchen area because the Art of Animation has a tiny little, like, almost wet bar where there's a sink and there's your refrigerator.
I like the layout of Art of Animation a heck of a lot better. Like if you're looking at costs not being that far apart from each other, I think Art of Animation is the way to go 100%. As far as room layout and comfortability.
100%. Now, but also you have the Skyliner.
Well, yeah, I mean that's going to be a game changer no matter what. But what I was saying before is, I think that like if you're looking at the space and cost was comparable, you pick the family suite at Music over a cabin. If you were looking at, hey, we want a resort with amenities and things to do, you're going to squeeze your butts into the cabin. You know what I mean? Because of how much there is to do there.
Right.
And again, it's going to depend on the breakdown of your family and how many people you have and all.
And how big they are.
Yeah, and how big they are. I still think the family suites at Art of Animation are the way to go.
100%.
If that's what you're looking at. When you're not trying to get to a moderate Coronado price and level, which has suites, and you're not trying to get to a deluxe 1-bedroom, 2-bedroom type, level and all with the suites over there. So we have wanted to stay in one of these for so long.
We have, because years ago, I swear Jeremy or somebody explained that it sleeps 6, but it's like you're staying in a closet. Like I felt like I was told that these are so much smaller than the Little Mermaid.
I don't love the layout.
I didn't mind it. I was very surprised and impressed.
Yeah.
To be 1,000% honest.
It feels, to me, it feels smaller than it is.
Okay. I can kind of get behind that, but I think I just thought it was going to be so much smaller, and I was very surprised and impressed.
Yeah.
And yes, I agree 100%. If Art of Animation, if there was like a little bit difference, but if it was like $100 difference or so, I'd be fine staying at the All-Star
I was going to say $100 would probably be my break point.
Yeah.
I would pay $100 more to stay at Art of Animation, but maybe not $101 more.
Okay.
If that was my break point. But, and again, a lot of those come with length of stay. There's a huge difference between saying we're going for 2 nights and it's $100 or more a night to stay at Art of Animation, or we're going 7 nights and it's $100 more to stay at Art of Animation. So again, that's going to be dependent on the breakdown of your family, your party, your group, whatever's happening. But I'm so glad we got to stay in these. I still love these refurbs.
Yeah.
They're nice and clean. I know they can be a little bit hospital-like, but I think that they're comfy.
I liked all the decor.
Yeah.
I thought it was really cool when you pulled down.
Why did they not take? So they had these cool little framed pictures of like rock and roll, like Donald and Goofy and Mickey. Why are you not selling those in the store up front?
Or putting them in the other rooms sometimes.
Yeah.
Because I think this was a suite. It had more decor. And
it did.
I love when you pulled down both the table and the bed and all the decor or the paintings behind there. Just like when you pull down the 5th sleepers and the other ones.
Yep.
Like I personally really, really enjoyed this and would love to look at staying again.
Agreed. And especially, with our, we keep talking about, your family and what that's composed of, the girls don't want to share a bed.
No.
And, I think of going there and saying, all right, you and I have our own queen bed, our own lock-off room, our own bathroom, and the girls could each have their own queen bed and share a bathroom.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's something to be said for that as well. And so, there's going to be a lot of discussion on, like, we have 6 people. Do we get 2 rooms at a value?
And that's hard.
Do we get one of these suites?
Right. That's hard because it's still the same to me where you get 2 rooms and usually they can share a door. What do you call it?
Yeah, you can have the connecting
room.
Yep.
So then really you open that door and you literally have 2 bathrooms and 4 beds.
Yeah, it's not that far off from having it. So you'd have to look at your price. So if you're looking at going, shoot, right now, and I'd have to price out September 14th because that's when I was looking at.
Right.
If you're talking about doing an all-star, any of the 3 for $130 a night, you're talking $260 a night for 2 rooms. I'd be interested to see what the family suite is for that exact same night. Because
I would just get 2 rooms. Yeah. Now, with your 2 rooms, you're literally going to have 2 dedicated beds. You're not going to have tables and couches and stuff like this.
Well, you're going to have the tables in each of them. You remember, you're going to have 1 dedicated bed and 1 Murphy bed table.
Oh, it does. They did switch them. I forgot.
Yeah. So.
But still.
Yeah, but you got to think about it. If you were 6 people, you were a parent and you had 4 kids or something, the kids are in one room, you as the parents in the other room, you don't got to worry about that. You have a dedicated table now. Everybody can gather in that room in the morning and get your quick service breakfast from up front or whatever. So, I think this is a very viable option, especially considering cost.
100%.
All right, so we're going to sum this up. We're going to wrap it up. We went to see The Little Mermaid at AMC Disney Springs. with a wonderful group of friends.
Yes.
Many of us got decked out and bought some last minute merchandise.
Yes.
At World
I
of Disney.
Did get my Spirit jersey.
Yep.
I went ahead and got it, and it's beautiful. And Rachel has one, and so does Allie. So we're
Yep.
all twinsies.
And Alex and I were twinning because we
Yep.
got the button. They have a button up. We call it sidekick
Yeah.
shirt because it had Scuttle,
Scuttle.
Sebastian, Flounder
Yep.
all on it, kind of like outlines, very
I
colorful.
liked it on you. The
Me too.
girls were
I might
trying.
I might go put it on after this,
Okay.
just for funsies.
The girls were trying to talk him out of it. They didn't have a shirt his size that he
Yeah.
wanted. I liked it on him, and I'm super happy he got it.
Yeah.
Alex got it too. I think y'all were very handsome.
We looked good.
in it. You did.
We looked real good.
Yeah, and we had a really good time. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. Jeremy,
Let's talk about the movie.
Let's start saying.
Yeah, well, if you haven't seen it yet,
No, I was
and
going
you
to
don't-
talk about the AMC. I was like, Jeremy can be the sunshine in this one.
Oh, okay. Well, all right. Let's talk about the AMC, and when we're done AMC, before we talk about the movie, if you haven't seen it, we'll just talk about it in open, so you can go ahead and just stop the episode then. But don't forget to leave us a rating and review.
Because it'll help our show grow.
Thanks. All right. So back to the AMC. What's up with that?
I don't like it.
I don't care for that AMC at all.
At all.
And we did the non-dining side.
We did. We've done this now twice. We saw Pitch Perfect.
This is our third time. We saw Beauty and the Beast
Yep.
live action.
Yep.
Then we saw Pitch Perfect 3,
Mm-hmm.
one of the greatest series of all time, one of the greatest trilogies ever made. Is
Okay.
Pitch Perfect. And then now we've seen Little Mermaid.
Yes. And I just, our Durban down the road where I have heated seats, I can like recline and stretch and there's still giant screens.
Mm-hmm.
This one we were in happened to be 3 stories.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think so.
I think we
2?
were on the second.
Yeah, there was 2. I can't remember.
I think there was a
Oh,
balcony
you know what else we
above
saw
us.
here? The Incredibles 2.
We did.
Yeah, because we were on the third. That's right. We were on like a third level in that
Yeah.
one theater.
It's just, and again, I hear people probably like, oh God, I love that. I can't believe you're saying it. But I think it's just because honestly, I've been spoiled near us elsewhere. Was it super cool watching it and walking up the like carpet and seeing it at Disney Springs? Sure.
The regular seats.
The regular
They're
seats.
old school movie theater seats that have a little bit of a rock to them.
You don't like, there
everybody's
was
on
no
top of each other.
popcorn buckets, and the popcorn Jeremy went to go look at getting. Now we just ate, and the only reason I was going to get popcorn is because the bucket, and like there was supposed to be
like a
some
novelty
cool
bucket.
light up whatever. Well, A, there wasn't, and B, he was like the popcorn kind of was just sitting under.
Everything's grabbing, like all the popcorn and a lot of the stuff was
Yeah.
just grab and go. Like it's you don't know how long it's been there. There's like popcorn all over the floor.
It's
like
just
it was a
just
mess.
Yeah.
It was an absolute mess. Now, I will say there's a part of me that would trade up the nicety of the recliner seats and all to see it on opening night with a bunch of what are huge Disney fans in Disney Springs
Oh, that was cool.
because of the audience.
That was cool. It was, yeah. So
There was cheering, there was clapping.
I should say,
there
I can be
was-
done.
yeah.
I can be done talking about it now. I just do love our neighborhood.
We do.
One more, but yeah, that was super cool. It was super funny because you saw. I mean, shoot, you saw Ariel, like a girl dressed in Ariel.
Yeah.
The old school or the excuse me, now we say animated
Yep.
one. There was all kinds of people, and it was so funny because everybody was talking, and I was kind of nervous. But as soon as the movie started, I mean, silence.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay. And then, like, yeah, every song they'd clap, and it was cool, and it was something like you said, being there and doing that, and it was something cool too, like walking out and leaving, and here you are in Disney Springs, which was super cool.
It was amazing.
And you just had to hop on a bus to go
Yeah.
to our hotel room, which was amazing.
Yeah.
So
So what
yeah,
did you think of the movie?
again, Disney always rocks and does it. I was nervous. I loved it. In fact, I look very much forward to watching it again on Disney
Yeah.
Plus. I probably will not go back to the theater only because literally we have so many plans.
Yeah.
if
But I
I
would
had-
honestly, if we weren't so busy this summer,
Oh, I'd probably
would
see
go
it.
back.
100%. It was fantastic. everybody played phenomenal parts. I personally don't have one complaint. I think the complaint that Jeremy's going to talk about is I give him, I've already said it to a ton of my clients, give him to watch it 2 or 3 times, and then he's going to go, I kind of like it now.
To be honest, you know what? As you say this, so I thought it was phenomenally cast.
Oh, yeah.
Halle Berry was unbelievable. Like to me, getting into,
I think it was Haley Bailey.
I can never pronounce that name right.
Go ahead.
I apologize.
Because every time I feel like you say Halle Berry, which I think it's Haley
Bailey,
I think. But anyways,
but I pronounce it Halle all the time.
I could be wrong, but anyways, go ahead.
So to me, it was very much like watching Aladdin. Within a minute, Naomi Scott, I was like, that's Jasmine.
Yeah.
Like, that's Jasmine. Yeah. Like, that's her. And with this, within a minute, I was like, that's Ariel.
Yeah, she was fantastic.
It was, I felt like it was one of the most truest to the original animated. Along with a couple additional songs.
Yep, a little bit. A little different.
Yeah, a little bit different, but everybody was cast perfectly. My biggest fear was the animals.
Yes, because you did not really.
Because I did not care for the way they did the Lion King, because they showed no emotion or anything. Somehow, without making them cartoonish, I thought they did it with Flounder and Scuttle and Sebastian.
They did
Daveed
great.
Diggs, outstanding as Sebastian.
I think that's also that helps, like, their voices. Like,
were so good.
Scuttle as Aquafina. Holy
Aquafina
crap.
as Scuttle. Yeah,
whatever.
I thought she was hilarious. I really enjoy her. And I just, my only gripe, but now I'm going to compare it to Beauty and the Beast, was Eric's solo song. I just don't think it really fit. But as right now I'm thinking, I thought the same thing about the Beast Evermore.
So good.
And look, say what you want about live actions, remakes. If you don't want them to be done, don't give them your money and go see it.
Yeah.
That's the best thing to do.
Yeah, I love it.
If you don't want them to remake a live action movie, you can simply say, I wish they hadn't done this. I'm not going to go see it.
Correct.
That's all you have to do. It's that simple. So do it. Okay? Instead of complaining all over social media. So what these do, though, for me, is it builds a story. You get to watch Eric fall in love with Ariel that they don't have time for in the animated, because the animateds are much shorter, hour 20, hour 30. These are running close to 2 hours long. This is the longest live action remake to date. I think coming in at like 2 hours and 3 minutes or something.
Okay.
But same with Beauty and the Beast. You got to, like, in the original films, that there's some behind the scenes stuff going on because they didn't just fall in love like that.
Yeah.
But they actually can show it in these. Mm-hmm. And the additional Ariel song when she first had her feet and couldn't talk, and it was an internal monologue and song.
That was super cool.
Really, really good.
Really good.
I think what happened, if I go back and I listen to her, I watch the Eric scene again, I think it was just weird. He was just like gallivanting across the side of a mountain. It just seemed a little bit off. The Aquafina, the Scuttlebutt song.
Oh, that was fantastic.
Where you're like, oh, that's right. Lin-Manuel is a part of this, isn't he?
Yes.
Yes, he is. This was so good.
Yeah.
And I think the best casting in the entire movie was the one is Vanessa. Right? When Ursula is in human form.
Yes.
I don't know who that is.
She was insanely good. It's
unbelievable.
Just out
and
of this
Melissa
world
McCarthy
killed it.
I think she has now played the closest to the original role out of any live action, which is super gutsy. Like, if I was a director and she was like, I'm going to pretty much play it like Pat Carroll did, I would have been like, why? There's no way you're going to live up to it.
She did.
And she did. I think she did.
She did.
I
love, even the song, like a little, like, I mean, she made it her own a little bit too, which is fantastic. But holy crap. I mean, she killed it. Congratulations, Melissa.
Everybody in the movie.
Yeah.
Well, it was so perfectly cast. It was so well done. It was, I thought it was incredible. I'd still probably say, for me personally, I mean, Beauty and the Beast, I think, is probably my favorite live action remake.
Yeah.
I think this is going to come in at number 2.
Oh, yeah.
Followed by Cinderella.
Yep.
And then Aladdin.
Mm-hmm.
Jungle Book, I'd probably put up in the 5th spot. I just,
So is
it
it
was so
true we
good.
have Snow White coming?
Yeah, I believe there's a Snow White.
That's what a client said.
I can't stand when people are like, we don't need a live action remake, but I don't need a live action remake of Lilo and Stitch. I'm so nervous.
I'm
But
excited.
seeing what they did with Little Mermaid, which was a huge
Disney always,
task.
I know I think everybody gets nervous, and I'm like, every time, like people even asking me, like, because I mean, I love Little Mermaid.
Yeah.
I mean, people think sometimes I look like her, like literally. I have the fork and I have Sebastian and Scuttle tattooed on me. Yes, it is one of my favorite movies. And people are like, are you nervous? And I'm like, a little bit, but it's Disney and I do have faith in them.
Yeah.
And I know they are going to do an unforgettable, incredible job.
Yeah.
And did they do that? 1,000%.
Well, and here's the other thing. Even if we walked out of the movie and said, that wasn't as good as I was hoping, I like the animated better. Okay. Cool. To go
100%.
watch the animated.
Right.
Doing a live action ruins nothing of the animated. It can still
Correct.
live on its own. You can watch them independently of each other and enjoy both of them or not enjoy them independently of each other. So I just, I loved it. I'm so excited to see it again. My other big fear, because I thought Aquaman, the underwater scenes looked like garbage. These looked beautiful.
Yeah.
The movie didn't come off as, I think, like dark in cinematography as some of the previews showed. I thought it was bright, vibrant, colorful.
Mhm.
It just, I loved it.
Speaking of that, you know
absolutely
what's out? And I'm like looking at the time that we could start.
The Way of Water.
Yes.
It's like 7 hours long.
No, it's not.
All right. We'll see if we start that after this.
Okay.
We still got to do dinner and all kinds of things. But all right. I think we're going to wrap up for this one.
Yeah.
Next episode will be a split dining review of
Woo!
both Splitsville dinner and Homecoming brunch. We've actually got the next 2 weekends. We're down in Orlando, so we'll get a lot of content from that.
Yep.
We're returning to Sanaa
Yay!
on Friday.
I'm
can't
here for
wait.
the bread service.
Yep, you got to get your shirt out.
Yep.
We're staying at the Marriott Grand Vista,
Mhm.
so we'll give you a little off-property
Yeah.
resort review of that.
It's
Following
closer to
weekend-
Universal.
It is a little bit closer to Universal. Following weekend, we'll be back down for a couples weekend with Rob and Tina. We're staying at Caribbean
Woo!
Beach. We are dining at Ale and Compass for dinner, which we've never
Ooh.
actually done. We've always done the lounge and we've done a
Yes.
breakfast. We've got, Cabana Bay stay next month. We've got Wilderness Lodge, DVC. We've got all kinds of dining. We've got a lot of great stuff coming up. So
We do.
you want to make sure you go ahead and follow us on social media everywhere, mainstmagic.com. You want to catch all that stuff live, you can check out wonderlandcrew.com for our Patreon group. Of course, if you subscribe, you'll get all these brand new episodes, all this content every Tuesday and Friday. And finally, we'd be super thankful if you would leave us a rating and review.
Because it helps our show grow.
That's all we've got. We'll see you real soon.
Jeremy and Rhonda are more than a little fond of Disney World, so they made this podcast to share it all with you. Reports and resorts, top 10 lists of all sorts, Main Street Magic's bringing it home for you.